Hello, fellow nerds! Avengers Infinity War releases on April 27th. And I'm here, just Allan, to do some of the heavy lifting on theories for you when you sit down and enjoy this movie 10 years in the making. With so many heroes jam-packed into the event of a lifetime, it can be hard to keep track of what happened when, and why, and what, and how, and my god, what is the barrier of entry at this point? Hopefully after this, you'll be well off on what's happening and be able to theorize with the best of them. Infinity War finally sees the big bad of the MCU, Thanos, the Mad Titan, coming to Earth to claim his long sought-after Infinity Stones.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
We've been introduced to 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones, with power, reality, space, time, and mind. But this leaves out one stone, and probably the most important, the Soul Stone. Now, I'm going to put a spoiler warning here for those who have not seen Black Panther, as the first theory on this list covers that movie in particular. We all remember the touching scene from Black Panther when T'Challa goes into the spirit realm to speak with his father, T'Chaka. Do you remember the color of the scenery? The purple hue screams Soul Stone. What if I told you that the Soul Stone is housed in the vibranium meteorite that landed in Wakanda years ago? The Wrap posted a question to its readers, igniting the discussion. If the Soul Stone's power is to trap and manipulate souls, then it would make sense that T'Challa is able to commune with the dead after ingesting the flower that gives him his powers. The flower itself only grows in Wakanda because of the vibranium in the soil. With trailers for Infinity War showing a giant battle in Wakanda, odds are this theory is quite likely. It's not news to anyone anymore that the Mouse House has purchased 20th Century Fox. With the acquiring of the studio, Marvel Studios now has access to the entire mutant side of the Marvel Comics universe. With Thanos in control of the Reality Stone, and knowing Scarlet Witch's abilities to manipulate reality, is it possible that we could be looking at a House of M situation? My gut says it's definitely possible, but it would be a far cry from the critically acclaimed comic event series of the same name. It's no surprise that Avengers Infinity War is the end of the current era of Marvel Studios films. Unless it isn't. To touch on this theory, I have to bring you back to a lovely film known as Doctor Strange. This movie is my favorite in the series. Not only does it star one of my favorite actors in the shoes of one of my favorite Marvel superheroes, but its implications on the wider universe is endless. What if I told you that the ending of Doctor Strange, where the good doctor had the Dark Lord Dormammu trapped in a time loop, was actually a teaser for how Infinity War would play out? Twitter user @MCUHolland blasted out to Twitter a very plausible theory that Screen Rant expanded on. What if Avengers Infinity War is played out over multiple timelines? With the Time Stone in the hands of Dr. Stephen Strange and having shown mastery over the Eye of Agamotto, what if the entire movie is seen from the perspective of Doctor Strange trying to find all of the possible outcomes? Think about it. Time travel is a heavy component in many stories in the comic side, and it hasn't been touched on much in the movies aside from the one plot device in Doctor Strange. Strange himself in the trailer even says, "I went forward in time to see all the possible outcomes." Which brings the theory into the realm of possibility. Then, there's a small point that none of the actors working on the movie have an idea of the whole story. None of the actors, excluding, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch. Tom Holland and Tom Hiddleston told Good Morning America,
"But even though you haven't seen the complete movie, have any of you read the full script?"
Not me.
Wow. This guy right here.
One guilty.
Benedict,
I'm a reader. I like to read.
he has special
I have special
powers.
reading powers.
With all of this being taken into consideration, a multiple timeline story of beating the game before you play it could prove interesting, to say the least. These are only a handful of theories that could be the end to the 10-year experiment that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know I have my tickets to opening night. Do you? Post below any comments or theories you might have about the upcoming superhero clash, and don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe Stab Media on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. For Stab Media, I'm just Allan. Wakanda.
Well, like this, but